and this is a very sad topic for us guys. The Giants are accused. We'll put it that way. I wasn't there for the conversation, so we'll say accused to keep us out of legal trouble. Accused of literally calling up the guys at Talkin Giants, Bobby Skinner, Justin Penik. Definitely friends of the show. We got a lot of respect for their program. To be honest, they're bigger than us. They're probably the biggest Giants podcast there is, to the best of my knowledge. Bobby's been on our show before. They've had us on their show before. I've been on a show with Justin before both of us as guests. Our paths have crossed a few times. I'll put it that way. Again, they do a great show. They give you a very informative show. It's entertaining.
Yep,
and
great
it's
content.
Also not just bashing blindly like some shows do. And I admit it freely that sometimes we get that way because we're just so damn frustrated as Giants fans. They come at it as much as they do crazy things sometimes with very much like, this is what we should do. This is why we should do it. So they did a segment on that the Giants should fire Joe Schoen. Apparently the Giants were so displeased by it that they said the head of PR is what they said on the program. Now, they did mention Pat Hanlon separately, but they never said Pat Hanlon specifically was the guy who called them. So I don't want to put words in their mouth that are misleading in any way, shape, or form, but maybe it was him. He's technically the VP of communications, I think is his job title with the Giants there. So, it's definitely his department either way. I'll put it that way. But yeah, they called him up and basically said, stop doing that kind of content. And if you don't stop doing that kind of content, we're not going to help you anymore. That's a really, really bad thing, guys. Like, of all the things the Giants have done, and not just because Rob and I are content creators as well, we want to support our fellow content creators. That is probably one of the most disgraceful things I've ever heard the Giants do in all my years as a Giant fan.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's literally suppression of the media. If you don't want us to talk about firing your people, guys, put a better product in the field. That's the way we shut up and stop talking about that topic. And listen, I won't pretend to have listened to that particular episode. Unfortunately, just being the life of a content creator, we don't get to listen to every episode of every program we do like because we're making our own content and setting up things for our own content and all that kind of fun stuff there. But I've never once heard Bobby or Justin talk about a person as an individual. And we've walked that line in this show even before. Like I said, point blank, Joe Schoen came off as a pompous jerk on the Hard Knocks. I said that, just for the record. Again, I said it, not them. They've never done something like that. They've just been like, listen, the product in the field is not good. You've been the GM for 3 years. We got a new quarterback coming in. It's time to rebuild fresh and new. They went more that approach from everything I've heard. So there's no reason for the Giants to call them up like that. No reason at all. And it's a bad move. Really bad move.
Well, it's really striking a nerve, too. It shows you, like, how much – it kind of puts them right on the wall, if you will. Because, like, if you're talking about keeping your head coach and one of your number one content creators is calling for the firing of him and the general manager, like, you're looking to keep him, it's probably not a good look.
Yeah.
And it's going to upset a lot of fans.
As Deb says, I watched that episode. It was very well done. I can't believe the Giants did that. Exactly, because I know Deb.
Even the rebuttal.
Deb in the comments, actually, when I'm in watching them as well. So, yeah, I know she watches them as well. Again, great guys. If you guys don't listen, go ahead and like, subscribe to them as well because, again, they do great content. They really do. In fact, it's funny enough, when Rob and I were starting our show, we had said this was a show, not that we want to, like, do what they do, obviously, but it was like in that realm of shows. Like it should be entertaining, not just here's my facts, here's my opinion, let's move on to the next topic. Like I'm not going to name particular shows, but there's a lot of shows out there that do that kind of stuff. And
we'll have a little fun with
it. Exactly, have a little fun. But like I said, I think that it's absolutely ridiculous for a NFL organization to call. And listen, they do it with the press all the time. If people don't think that, let me be very, very clear. They do that with the press all the time when you are a smaller member of the press. That's why when you look at the guys who are the most, I don't want to say anti-Giant, but the most negative about the Giants, it's guys like Pat Leonard, Jordan Raanan, guys that work for the bigger stuff that you're not going to get rid of. You're not going to get rid of the New York papers. You're not going to get rid of ESPN. But let's say I went there. Let's say hypothetically, and listen, I live in Florida. Obviously, I'm not going there anytime soon. But let's say hypothetically, I got credentialed. I go into the press conference. I'm there with Coach Dable, and I'm asking questions that they don't like. They would say something potentially, and this happens in every single team. We'd be very clear, not just the Giants. They would say, "Listen, we don't like the way this question was." Blah, 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 blah. And if you don't listen to their feedback, eventually they just take your credentials away. That is life as a NFL beat writer. But you cannot tell a content creator what they're going to do on their own damn program.
Yeah, it's not like they pay for that program.
Yeah, absolutely goddamn ridiculous. Like, you can't do that, you know? Yeah, and that's absolutely ridiculous. And Deb says there was nothing said out of line. I saw Bobby Skinner on the show, and that's when I started following him. Good. I'll tell Bobby that because they've helped us a lot. Listen, Bobby, actually, I'll take as a little side note. I've talked about this when we had Bobby on the show there as well. But when we first started looking at doing this, I was on another podcast, and I reached out to a few people whose shows I enjoy and said, "Hey, really like your show. Do me a favor. If you get the chance, here's a link to a show I was on as a guest. I'd love to get your feedback. I'm thinking of starting a podcast up." Bobby Skinner was the only one who took the time to listen to the show and give me feedback. The only one. I'm not going to name who didn't. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But I want to give that kind of kudos to show that's the kind of person that he is. So we're going to stand with Talkin Giants and point blank condemn the fact that the Giants feel they can do that kind of stuff. It's absolutely goddamn ridiculous. Put your big boy pants on.
Yeah, put some better products on the
field.
Go
ahead and put a better product out there, or deal with the consequences. Like, it's almost like, and I don't want to say like that we're like we, and I mean like we, like me and Rob. I mean what we as content creators, fans, whatever the hell title you want to give us at that point. It's not like we're the bosses of the Giants. But I'm going to put it this analogy. If you suck at your job and your boss comes at you saying you suck at your job, you don't got much of a leg to stand on.
No. But if I go into your place of business, Drew, and tell one of your employees that they suck at their job, they can tell me to go kick rocks.
They can. But not if they're outside in their home. Like, I wouldn't walk into your home and say, "Hey, you can't say that."
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the difference there. And like I said, it's absolutely cowardly, absolutely ridiculous, and it's a huge black eye in this organization. And what I can't believe, and I think it lends credence to the fact of what I said a minute ago, that it happens all the time with beat writers, this kind of stuff. If you Google it even, it doesn't even come up except for forum threads. None of the big writers are talking about this right now, guys. None of them. And if I'm wrong when I say that, feel free to put in the comments and correct me, because I'd love to give a shout out to somebody who has the balls to do that. Yeah,
the goofballs, if you will.
Yeah, because I did look to see. None of them did that I saw. And again, we're going to stand with content creators when they do good content, they do good things, and they get pooped on by the Giants, because that's ridiculous. Absolutely goddamn ridiculous. And they threatened, like I said, to not help them again. And Bob even said in the show the only thing that the Giants helped them with was they had some sponsorships that they wanted to make sure they can, go through with their, requirements. And when they went to the joint practices in Detroit with the Lions we had this offseason, they gave them media credentials, so that way they have a full table set up with a tent and everything, just in case, it rained or something. That way they can still, again, put out their stuff they had to put to fulfill their part of their deal with their sponsorship. And that was it.
Yeah, the bare minimum.
Yeah, and again, that wasn't them complaining. They weren't like, "God damn it, this team should do more to help us." Like, they were just like, "Listen, this is the only thing we ever asked of them. They came through with it. We appreciate they came through with it." But it's not like they've done a ton, and Bobby said the same thing I said a minute ago as Facty on the show. It's kind of where when we think of that as well, is that he also lives in Florida. So he's like, why do I want to be credentialed? I can't go.
Yeah.
I can't go anyway. Oh my gosh. But like I said, it's absolutely ridiculous. And again, when I just looked up, Talking Giants fire Joe Schoen, which is what I looked up, or Giants call Talkin Giants. I searched both those things on Google. That should pull up articles for this. This should be a big damn story. It really should. And I would love for somebody to ask John Mara the question of if he's okay with his organization trying to quiet the content creators and fans of his team.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any names, but there was a beat writer that had a show on YouTube that I asked them point blank in the comment section about this topic, and it got skipped. Like I said, this is definitely a hush job here.
Yeah,
shouldn't be a hush job. Shouldn't be. So we're gonna call it out. We're gonna call it out like we should. And like I said, we'll do that in support of the Talking Giants. And again, not that he asked me to do that or ask Rob, but we that we want to stand up for them. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, Bobby, we saw you. We saw the episode. We saw that wink, the goofball nod. We got you.
Yeah, like I said, it was fun, man. The show. They're good people. So,
yeah.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.